This is everything I watched this September. Over 45 horror movies. Spooky season is here.
What do I want? I want to play a game.
Alright, I decided in September I wanted to watch horror movies all the way through September and October. So this is everything I watched in September. Over 45 horror movies. Now, some of these I watched for the first time, and of course, other movies I've seen many times that I love. So, alright, let's get started. I'll just tell you all the movies I watched in September. Alright, first off, let's talk about, I watched The Forgotten. Now, this has Julianne Moore, and this is actually a pretty good concept. Julianne Moore remembers she had a son. She starts to forget him, and then even everybody around her starts to forget her son too, even her husband. She's the only one left who remembers her son, and there's more going on. I won't tell you what exactly is going on, but she also comes across another single parent who, same thing, he lost his daughter in a plane crash, and he's starting to forget her too, and he completely forgets her, and then Julianne Moore has to convince him that he had a daughter. This is actually a pretty good early 2000s movie. I just watched this DVD, and I really enjoyed this. I know I've seen this before, but it was a very long time since I saw this, and this actually was really good. I liked The Forgotten. Alright, some movies I streamed on Netflix. I did watch Ju-On Origins. It's a miniseries about Ju-On the Grudge. It's like a prequel series to Ju-On. I thought it was pretty good. It was Japanese subtitled. It was only like 6 30-minute episodes. Decent time. I didn't love it as much as like Ju-On the movie or anything, but it was a decent little miniseries with some good scares, and the house from the movies was in there and everything, and all about the curse and all that. Yeah, pretty good. I really liked Ju-On Origins. It was a pretty good time. So if you have Netflix, I definitely recommend at least giving it a watch if you like the Grudge series or Ju-On, the Japanese version of it. Alright, next I did watch Bloody Moon. This was an early 80s slasher from like 1981. It's on Tubi right now. It was a decent little slasher. It took a while to get going. They definitely had some couple red herrings in there for you to guess the killer. It wasn't the best slasher. It was I thought it was a little more mediocre 80s slasher. But if you love 80s slashers, definitely check it out. You might really enjoy it. A little bit slower paced. It starts off with a decent kill, then it's a little slower paced to build up to like the climax and everything. So decent time. Bloody Moon. Black Phone, I've seen this before. This is a very good movie. Ethan Hawke is the killer. He grabs kids in the neighborhood, and then he ends up killing them. This is a really good horror movie. I really like this. We got the sequel coming out really soon. I'm very excited for the sequel. It does kind of look like a Nightmare on Elm Street ripoff, but this movie was pretty good, really enjoyable. And I like the brother, but I really like the sister in this. She has visions and like dreams and all that. But yeah, Black Phone, I highly recommend this. If you are a horror fan and you haven't watched this yet, this is very good. This is on Peacock right now if you have Peacock. Then I watched a little thriller called Room 6. This was an okay movie. It was like about a married couple that get in a car accident, and an ambulance picks up the husband and they take him to this hospital, and the wife can't find what hospital he's at, and they're doing all this weird stuff at this hospital they take this guy to, so she kind of has to, throughout the whole movie, try to find her husband and find the hospital he's in and all that. It was okay, not the greatest thing ever. It was called Room 6. It is on Tubi, so check it out if it sounds interesting to you. Room 6. Alright, then I did a full marathon of my favorite movie series of all time. We were supposed to get a Saw 11 this year, but we are not getting it. I don't know if Saw 11 is going to happen, but I did watch the entire Saw series, Saw 1 all the way through Saw 10. I love this series. This is my favorite series of all time. I've seen this series so many freaking times. I can't tell you how many times. Like Saw 1 through 4 I've watched probably 30 times each. I don't know. But I've seen Saw X like 4 times now. I love Saw X. If they end it with this, if Tobin Bell never comes back and they reboot Saw, I will be happy if this is the last one with Tobin Bell. They ended on a high note. I love Saw X, but I love this whole series, even if not every single movie is perfect. But I had fun rewatching this series again for the umpteenth time. Then I watched a few of the After Dark Horror Fest 8 Films to Die For. These were all first time watches. First one was Bastard. Decent time. I kind of enjoyed this. These people go and stay at like this bed and breakfast, and then someone starts killing people, and it's like a whodunit, and they kind of reveal the killer at the end. I enjoyed that one. And then this one was a slasher, Lumberjack Man. This was pretty fun. It was kind of funny. It didn't take itself that serious. There were some decent kills. I thought I liked how it was funny how the Lumberjack Man, he like carried around giant stacks of pancakes. This was enjoyable. Kind of a little cheesy, but it was a fun time. I liked Lumberjack Man. And then the other one I watched, first time watch, was Murder in the Dark. This one was alright. It wasn't the best, but it was a decent one-time watch. And apparently how they shot this movie was the actors didn't know like the whole script. They kind of improv'd the movie somehow until they revealed the killer or something. They're at like these ruins in a different country, but it was a decent time. Actually, the end credits was kind of the most interesting part with them revealing how they shot the movie and everything. But Murder in the Dark, I do recommend that one. At least watch this one. It was a pretty good one. Alright, another movie I watched in September was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I actually really like this movie. I've seen it a few times now. It's got like a good horror or Halloween vibe at the beginning because the first part of the movie is set on Halloween night. Then you got like these different stories kind of interconnecting together. It's based on the book series, but this is a really good watch. I really like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Highly recommend this. I think this one was on Peacock as well, so if you have Peacock, check that one out. Good movie to get in the Halloween spirit because the beginning takes place at Halloween, and they kind of set up a sequel, but we haven't got it. I would love to have a sequel to this. I think it could be a really good sequel. But yeah, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, that's a good one. Alright, now here's a more string of movies I watched on streaming. One was Tragedy Girls. This was on Peacock. I really, really liked this movie. This was one of the movies I watched for the first time this month that I really enjoyed. It's about 2 high school girls that are friends, and I'll just tell you the beginning because I won't tell you the rest, but the beginning, like, there's this killer trying to grab one of the girls, but then the girls they're actually killers themselves, and they kidnap the killer that was trying to kill them. That's all I say. There's a lot going on in this movie. There's some gore, there's some comedy. I like the 2 leads in this. I really like Tragedy Girls. If you've never seen this is a high recommend. I love this movie. I thought this was great, and I'm pretty sure this was a one-time watch. It was on Peacock, as far as I remember Peacock. Alright, the next one I watched, which was on Peacock as well, was this was on YouTube I watched it on. Pinocchio's Revenge from like 1996. This kind of has a Child's Play feel. It's a little slow. It takes a long time to get going, but I still enjoyed it. And they kind of went down a different path than I thought. It wasn't quite exactly like Child's Play. If you like your 90s horror and you miss some 90s horror, definitely check out Pinocchio's Revenge. It's a decent time, just not... If you want Child's Play, don't expect exactly Child's Play, but it's still pretty good, and I like the look of Pinocchio, the doll in this and everything, so I do recommend Pinocchio's Revenge. Decent time. Alright, the next one was that I watched. This was on Peacock as well. Screamboat. This is about the killer Mickey Mouse movie, Steamboat Willie. This was a fun movie. It's got some Terrifier vibes to it. Even the guy who plays Art the Clown is the Mickey Mouse in this. A lot of deaths. It takes place on a boat. It actually reminded me a little bit of Jason Takes Manhattan because the whole thing was on a boat. And yeah, there's some fun kills. Pretty funny movie. Some great gory kills. Steamboat Willie is the guy who plays Art gives a great performance as Steamboat Willie. So Screamboat, if you like cheesy, fun slasher movie, definitely watch this. It was a really good time. Another killer Mickey Mouse movie that I watched on Peacock again was The Mousetrap. Did not like this movie hardly at all. It was really slow. It was like the opposite of Screamboat for me. Screamboat was fun. Mousetrap was kind of dull. There wasn't a whole lot going on to it. And I will say the ending sucks. I hated the ending. And yes, just if you watch Screamboat and Mousetrap back to back, Screamboat was way more fun. Mousetrap is so forgettable. I would not recommend watching Mousetrap. Watch Screamboat over that one. Another movie I watched, I think it was on Tubi, was Easter Bunny Massacre. This movie was dull, lifeless, very slow. I like the concept of like somebody dressed up as an Easter bunny killing people during Easter, but this movie just was super low budget. Kind of not my thing. I usually love this kind of thing, these cheesy slasher movies, but this was just so dull, boring, no characters I really liked. Even like the killer reveal at the end wasn't that great. I didn't even care when they revealed the killer at the end. So yeah, this was so forgettable. I say skip Easter Bunny Massacre. Not that great. Alright, another movie I watched in September was Triangle. This was also on Peacock. I guess I was watching a lot of movies on Peacock this month. Triangle has Melissa George in it. It's about her going on this ship with a few friends and like people start dying off, and this movie you just have to watch. I can't really tell you about anything about Triangle. I recommend it though. I thought it was a really good movie. I like this one quite a bit. Just one of those ones where I can't tell you anything about it. Just watch it. Good movie, Triangle. Now, the next one I watched was The Uninvited. I've seen this movie a handful of times now. I enjoy this movie. I think this came out in like 2009 maybe, but I like the two girls in this movie, and I like the story. Like the girl starts out in the mental asylum, and there's like a flashback to her mom dying, and like her mom was like sick in the guest house, and the guest house blows up. Pretty good. A little bit of suspenseful. There's like a twist ending too that I really enjoy. I won't say too much about this. If you haven't seen this, this is a pretty good time. That's The Uninvited. If you like your 2000s horror, pretty good one. Another one I watched was called It Feeds, and some reason I can't remember this movie at all. I can't even explain it to you. So I'll put the poster up. I know I watched this, but as I'm recording this video, I don't remember one thing about it. Sometimes that happens when you watch that many movies in a month, but It Feeds, what was that about? Here's the poster. I don't know. Alright, another one that I watched was the Stephen King adaptation of the movie The Monkey. I did enjoy this movie. This was kind of about a monkey that with the symbols, and it kind of causes bad luck and kind of causes some deaths and everything, and these brothers try to get rid of the monkey. They bury it, but it comes back like 20 years later. This is a Stephen King adaptation. I actually highly recommend this. I thought this was a pretty good time and a decent horror movie that came out this year. Alright, I watched The Haunting in Connecticut 2, something in Georgia. This was not a direct sequel to The Haunting Connecticut. It was kind of its own story, but this one is like kind of about haunted farmland. This has Chad Michael Murray in it. I thought this was a pretty decent time. You could tell it was kind of a very low budget, kind of directed DVD sequel, but I had fun with this one. I like some of the ghosts in this. I like just has Katie Sackhoff in it. I just thought this was a pretty good time. I had fun with this one. Alright, I watched Ju-On the Grudge, the Japanese version of The Grudge. I really like this movie. This movie's growing on me a lot. I like it as much as The Grudge now, and it's Japanese. I watch it with subtitles, but to me, sets right there with The Grudge. I've really enjoyed this movie. This is a very good time. Some great scares. Even a couple of the scares are the same that are in The Grudge America remake, but this is very, very good. For foreign horror movies, definitely watch this. This is so good. I like Ju-On. Alright, another movie I watched on Peacock was Peter Pan's Neverland Nightmare. This is kind of part of the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey movies. If you like that, you'll probably like this. I really enjoyed this. The killer kind of has the Grabber vibes on the Black Phone. It's very ultra low budget. Don't expect like the greatest thing ever, but I did like the killer and kind of the way they told their version of the Peter Pan story. It's just a slasher. It was a pretty decent slasher. I enjoyed this. Couple decent kills and kind of just the way they told this Peter Pan story in their own low budget kind of way, horror movie kind of way. Alright, the next one I've watched, I've seen like 20 times now. I really like this. The Ring. I think this is one of the better. This is probably the best Japanese American remake. And I think it's like one of the best PG-13 horror movies. I just love the atmosphere in this. It's a slow moving movie, but the atmosphere is so good that, and then the ending and everything that happens at the end is so good that I love this movie. And Naomi Watts is great in this. I even like the kid in this that plays her son. I think he does really good in this too. I really like this movie, The Ring. I've seen it so many times. If you grew up in the 2000s, you probably like this movie. Alright, another one I watched it was on YouTube. It was called The Haunted. This is about the Smurl haunting that the story they told in Conjuring Last Rites, but this is more about the family. The Conjuring Last Rites is more about the Warrens. I thought this was a decent this was like a TV movie from 91. It's not that scary, but I did like watching like the story of the Smurl family because you get the whole story of the Smurl family a lot more than Conjuring Last Rites. But I'll talk about Conjuring Last Rites in a second. But I recommend The Haunted. If you like Conjuring Last Rites and you want to see a little bit more of the Smurl haunting, I recommend watching this. It's a decent one-time watch. Alright, here is a movie I watched again that is growing on me a lot. I'm starting to love this movie. It's called The Exorcism of Emily Rose. This is about a girl who gets possessed, but I like the concept of this is kind of like the court case of the preacher who performed the exorcism. Emily Rose died, and they're kind of doing a science versus religion, trying to prove if he killed her in his way or was it religion or whatever. I am starting to really love this movie. I remember seeing this in the theater and like never watching it again. I got this DVD and I've watched it like 2 or 3 times since I got this DVD recently. So this is one of those ones that I think is actually kind of getting better with age, getting better with time. So I really like this. I highly recommend this if you've never seen Exorcism of Emily Rose. Whew, I watched a lot of movies this month. Okay, I had to watch the American version of The Grudge and Grudge 2 again. I really enjoy these. I like Sarah Michelle Gellar a lot. I like that these connect very well. They're definitely a direct sequel. Very good version of the Japanese movie. I think The Grudge is just as good. I think they're about equal. I like them, really like them both. Some creepy scares. You get the girl with long hair just like The Ring, but these are fun. These are PG-13 as well, but these are really fun movies. Alright, I watched the Frighteners with Michael J. Fox. This movie's really fun. It's a good mix of horror and comedy together. This is a very good time. If you've never seen this, is kind of like a ghost movie, but really fun time. I think this is a kind of a good one to watch during October around Halloween time. It's just got that fun time that I think Halloween is a fun time. So, The Frighteners, this is directed by Peter Jackson, who did The Lord of the Rings and Brain Damage and all that. So, highly recommend this if you've never seen it, from the 90s. Very fun movie. And then the first thing I watched this whole month was I did a rewatch of the entire Conjuring universe, leading into Conjuring Last Rites, which I watched that in the movie theater. I love some of these movies. I think some of them are kind of weak, but a lot of them are decent times. I love Annabelle Creation. I think that's the best one in the Annabelle series. I think Annabelle Comes Home is like kind of like a fun Halloween kind of haunted house, different creatures, fun vibe. And then I think The Conjuring 1 and 2 are like bona fide classics. I think Conjuring 1 and 2 are like perfect movies. I actually like Conjuring 2 is slightly more than the first one, but they're both bona fide modern horror classics. I love these movies to death. Great scares, great atmosphere. Ed and Lorraine Lauren are perfect together. I love the actors who play them. And I do think Conjuring 3 is kind of really weak. It's kind of really boring when I rewatched it this time. And then Conjuring Last Rites, that was one where I really liked the story of Conjuring Last Rites, but it's like a slower moving type movie. I wasn't expecting it to be like as slow as it is. The scares aren't quite there, but the story, and like if this is the last movie with the Warrens, I think it would be a pretty good send-off for the Warrens. I love the story side of things. I didn't think it was that scary. It wasn't like Conjuring 1 and 2. But it was a lot better than 3. The Devil Made Me Do It. So I enjoy Conjuring Last Rites, and I feel like that's one that might on rewatches enjoy more, because I know it's a little bit slower of a movie, but I know it has a good story. One of my complaints about it though is the Smurl haunting. I think it's really the Warrens movie, and they barely touch on the Smurl haunting, and that's kind of why I had to go watch The Haunting with the TV movie to get more of the Smurl haunting. But overall, I really enjoyed the Conjuring universe, and I love Conjuring 1 and 2 to death. Really like Annabelle Creation, but yeah, great series, and I do recommend Conjuring Last Rites. Alright, that was every movie I watched in September. I decided to do all horror movies because it's spooky season. I'm starting early this year. Probably in October, I'll watch a lot more of like the movies set more in Halloween. Some of my favorites of all time. Probably some first time watches, but it's like comfort food. I want to watch some of my childhood favorites like A Nightmare on Elm Street or Halloween series, but that was everything I watched in September. Let me know what you watched in September. If you started spooky season early and decided to watch horror movies all month, like I did, and ended up going to be watching horror movies for 2 months this year. But yeah, just leave and give me some recommendations down below of some horror movies that maybe not everybody's heard of. I'm always looking for new stuff to watch, as well as I got my comfort movies. But yeah, new stuff to watch. Give me some off-brand kind of horror movies that maybe not everybody's heard of, and maybe I'll check some of those out. Leave a like, subscribe if you love all things horror, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.